Hi, we're away Sophia and Charlie from Monito. This is the MoneySmart podcast and it's our first episode where we're introducing who we are. So what is Monito?
So we're operating as a social enterprise. We focus on providing financial education and advice to children of all ages, mainly sort of 4 to 12-ish, about finance and how money should generally be dealt with. With the cost of living crisis and all that, it's very important at this moment in time that people learn how to save and families save all the money that they can, because it can be very difficult in times like this.
Yeah, absolutely. Like at the moment with the cost of living crisis and everything, I feel like people are starting to struggle a lot because like stuff like groceries and like car prices. Like, I know that like, the leasing market and stuff is going shooting up because like microchip shortage and stuff because of like COVID as well. Everything on top of it. I feel like when, I don't know about you guys, like what do you think, Sophia, about when we get out to the actual world? It's like I feel like we won't know if we don't like do like get out of there like to podcasts and stuff and like listen to podcasts. We won't know about what we need to actually do with our finances, like taxes and
stuff.
stuff.
We're not taught in school. We don't have lessons on financial literacy. And here, 72% of children in the UK want to learn more about money and finance. So it's also the children are eager to learn about this too. So then they're ready when they go into the real world and kind of they know what's going on. And habits that you can pick up from as young as 3 years old is what you can use when you're older. So the habits that you do in front of your children now as a parent, as well as teaching them things, is they can use it for life and it helps them out in the future. So you're kind of benefiting both people using our product.
Let's talk about our product actually.
Yeah,
so we have the Saving Koala. Charlie has it over there if you'd like to show them, Charlie.
Right, so this is our product, this is the koala. It'll come in a box with this little bag and a little informative leaflet here. In this bag there's going to be loads of tokens, and then as you can see in there you put them in the top, and then once they reach the top that's like they won basically. Explain some more please.
So it's called the Saving Koala, and I think it looks quite nice. We've gone for more of a minimalistic look, whereas some toys I think for children can be quite colourful and bright and a bit of an eyesore, so I think it looks quite nice. And the tokens here, you can pour them out and then put them in the top, and they're shaped like leaves. So we have 2 colours, so it can either be for one child, and when they get to the top obviously they get a reward, or you could even use it for 2 children and have them compete. So one child be green and one the clear leaves, and then whoever has the most of their colour at the top gets the reward. So we suggest that you give a token either every time they do a chore or something good and reward them by giving a token, or you could actually use the tokens as with the monetary value. So you could say these ones are 50p and these ones are £1, and you could either do it that way and kind of be more strict to kind of when you give them the tokens and then give them the amount when they get to the top, or you can just say when you get to the top this is the reward that you'll get and use it either way. So
and we've made it for a purpose that, say, if you wanted to actually use it with physical money, you don't actually have to put the tokens in, because we made it so you can actually fit coins into it. And I feel like the overall aim with this one, because we are going to produce more products in the future which are varied to this is more like a reward token system. So like, as in, it's building a view into children that everything they do, like that's good, they're always going to get a reward for it. Like say when you're at work, you do, it's like commission basically. Say if you do get a certain amount of sales, you're going to get a reward for that, you're going to get money for that. It's like you do a good chore, you're going to get a token for that, and then when you fill it up, you get an overall payout like you do at like businesses with commission.
Yeah, I think it also teaches kind of the value of money, and it shows that if at the top, say it's a toy that they've had their eye on or something, it shows that you don't just get something, you have to earn it, and it comes at a cost. So yeah.
Alright, so this has been very popular so far, and in the future we're going to look at doing other products and sort of varying our product range a little bit. So unicorns, dinosaurs, bunny rabbits, things like that.
We just chose a koala specific to boys, or like will just attract girls, and I think most children kind of like the fluffy, cute koalas, and also it's quite an interesting shape to produce with, and it works well with the holding onto the tree as well. So
I feel like with this whole young enterprise though, because young enterprise is like over a year during our school time, I feel like it's more like a journey. Like we are going to make mistakes. For like example, if you pass me that over, Charlie.
This is already our 3rd prototype.
Like with for example, with the tree, we've had the changes to one that you actually like manually cut instead of with the laser, because it was taking too much time. and that's like an example of how we're actually on like a journey. Like
we're adapting everything.
We're gonna make mistakes. Like we're here. I don't know about you guys, but I'm here to like develop my like entrepreneurial skills and stuff.
Yeah.
Like
It gives us
what
like
are you
a
guys?
it gives an in-person, real life sort of an experience of business, and it also helps us like develop our work ethic, our people skills.
Yeah.
Just adding to our range of transferable skills.
I think it's this kind of experience is something that is quite unusual to experience an actual working business, especially at our age that we're running ourselves. So I think we're definitely going to gain a lot from this.
I feel like we all have as a group and like a team, because we got to remember our team. Our team are amazing. Like,
Yeah,
operations
there's
team
10
are
of us, so this is just.
that the overall aim is to get children to like have a better understanding of financial literacy. Like our products are more like I'd like to call them investments, because this product, if this token system can repeatedly be used, like the investments of the future.
Ways.
Like we're only operating for a year under Young Enterprise, but we want to create products that people are going to keep and like cherish to like support their children forever. And I think, I don't know if you guys have anything to add about that.
I was thinking, as well as the product, it comes with information and also access to our website, which also has not just for children. So this kind of the product is aimed at younger, we like 3 to 12-year-olds. But the website, if you look on it, it's got information for adults as well. So helping with the cost of living crisis and things like that. So it's useful for, I think, lots of people.
So I think we should spend a bit of time talking about our trade fairs now. We've had 3 in the last week. We had one last Saturday at primary school for one of our teacher's daughter. We've sold 17 koalas over those 3. So it's been quite a productive week. We've had some constructive criticism which we've taken on board, and the product's been adapted sort of during the week in between the 2 trade fairs as a result.
I feel like the problem is at the moment, I think you guys would agree on that, is just that because it's the Christmas festive season, a lot of the stalls are like
seasonal.
Yeah, like tailored
puts a bit of
towards
a disadvantage.
Yeah. But the first one that we had was for one of the teachers at our school. Their daughters went to primary school. We thought that would be a perfect. It wasn't kind of a proper trading station, but just to kind of get the feel for it. And we thought that's our target market, like specifically primary schools. So we went there, and how many? I don't think
we sold 3 that day.
Yeah, we sold 3, which wasn't exactly what we wanted, but what we got from that experience, kind of the trialling of it, was really beneficial. So
and it's important to remember that was a Christmas fair as well. We were the only
and this
one Christmas product there.
And we do have to remember at the start that we haven't been to trade fairs like that before.
Yes, that was our first one, and then the second one we had at school, which was, I think, really good for us because obviously people are going to support their own school's business. So we had teachers and parents that were really interested to kind of hear it and things. So we got a lot of feedback on that one, kind of about the idea of our business. And then the one that we had today was our first proper
Young Enterprise.
Yeah, there was lots of
trade
other businesses there from other schools, so that was really successful. I think we sold 5.
COP Best Product.
Yeah, so there was 4 awards going.
Best design, best product, best customer interaction, and what was the other one?
Teamwork.
Teamwork. Yeah.
And the award for the best product, which I think is the one that we wanted to get. Yeah. So that was really helpful. We also got a lot of feedback. So for example, this leaf here, we just changed it from the first prototype. So the first one was 3 kind of round leaves, and we made it into this one. But 2 of the customers actually came, and they were like, because we had the old one on display as well. They said, can we buy this one? And we said, no, it's not for sale anymore because obviously we've changed and adapted to this. So we got feedback that they prefer the softer one because they think it's better for like a child's room rather than the spiky ones. So now we're going to look at kind of a mix of both and going back to the rounder edges as well. So we can adapt because of the feedback that we got today, which I think is really good.
Yeah, so as well as obviously a bit of a selling experience, we were also able to interact with other young enterprise groups, and there was quite a variety of products. Again, lots of Christmas-based products, which, well, I wouldn't say put us at a massive disadvantage this time, but there was probably because it's December now, there's more of an attraction to the Christmas products, but we still did well today.
I feel like we have to remember as well, a lot of them will be going for like profits, so it makes sense for them to do like seasonal things.
Yeah, we're not aiming for profit.
We're a social enterprise, and like the charity we're going towards is Step Change, which is like a debt-based charity. So like, say if you're like an adult and you're in debt, like you're struggling to pay your finances, you can reach out to them at any time of the day, anytime, and they'll like create plans to support you financially. Like they'll look at all your finances and they'll look at how you can how much you can contribute monthly, and they'll speak to other like places where you have debt, and they'll support you like how in an advisory way, and we feel like this is most appropriate. I don't know if you
it's
guys
really relevant to our
very
business,
relevant to our business plan, yeah.
because I think quite a lot of people at the moment with the cost of living crisis are getting into quite a bit of debt.
Yeah, and because they didn't have the education as a child that we're providing now, they kind of at a disadvantage and don't really know what to do. So we're just trying to help people in the future.
That's also why we're doing this podcast, because we're gonna get people from the actual financial sector, and like people who actually are influencers in this part, like helping people with the finances, to come on and speak their story. I don't know, Charlie, I think you have some stuff to say on this.
So as company secretary, you guys will know, as we've been doing a lot of it together, messaging lots of influencers, people who have more knowledge than we do, it's fair to say, to try and, because we're obviously going to do a second episode of this podcast, to come and share some knowledge and help give some advice that maybe is a bit more, or comes from a more educated and knowledgeable perspective than we can provide.
Yeah. And we've definitely been reaching out to them through social media.
Social media's been really
good. We've currently focused mainly on Instagram, and we've been doing regular posts on there. Some of them have been with the production of our actual product and to do with our kind of business, and the rest has been guidance and information, just trying to help out anything.
There's lots on social media. There's lots of posts that give you advice on various, and it's varying complexity levels as well. So there's things that are for maybe older children or young adults who to educate them. So there's also things for young kids.
Like an example of that, I think would be with we did one on what is like the Bank of England, and like what are ETFs and index funds, like ways you can build on your investment and like build your savings up. So say if I was looking towards parents maybe. For like when their children get older, for like their university, you want to save money for that so you can support them, then you can like do into index funds and stuff. So if you go on our social media, which I'll put just in the right hand side corner now, it will be at Monito UK, and you can just please drop us a follow, that'd be great.
Cheers.
I think we also understand that even though our business is aiming at children, like children on Instagram aren't going to be following a financial business kind of giving them advice. I think our posts are definitely aimed at adults, because we understand that they're going to be the ones that will be following us, not children, because I know that I wouldn't right now really be following an financial account. Yeah. So our posts are definitely more for the adults, and then I think the product's more for the children as well, so yeah.
For like, we target our Instagram at the parents, because the parents are going to fundamentally buy this for the child. Because if I'm being honest, when I was a child, all I'd want was like some dinosaurs or something.
Yeah.
You wouldn't buy yourself something. I don't think children realise like how good this can be for them until they've used it for a while.
So an example of this, you've got here the leaflet. It's colourful, interactive. You've got the pictures, you've got the nice logo and everything. So it appeals to a child, and then they pick it up. They say, "Oh, look, this is cool," and then the parent reads it, and there's loads of good advice, stats on there, things that are actually useful for the parent to pass on to their child. So that's just an example of how we're sort of balancing.
Yeah. And also our wood that we use in production, this is all plywood. It's actually really easy to colour on with just normal colouring pencils. So they come with them, which is also even more interactive for the child. But obviously, you can either just have it plain or painted. So.
We mentioned it earlier briefly. There's a big problem of a lack of financial education in schools. So there's like no emphasis really placed upon financial education. So there's occasional instances where you get young adults or like teenagers going into the real world and finding out they've got actually no real knowledge of finance or how to deal with money. They don't know how to save, they don't know the value of investing, things like that. That's sort of where we come in. If you want, there's got some stats here which actually talk about how bad the situation is.
Yeah, so we've looked at other people's online surveys, and we found out that the fastest growing group declaring bankruptcy are ages 20 to 25. Which are young adults who've kind of just either left uni or got jobs and kind of gone into the world. They don't really know what they're doing. 56% of children said they'd like to start learning about money who are aged 12 and under, which shows even children, like they're not doing a food shop or paying bills or anything, but they're still interested to learn. So it kind of shows that that's what they want as well. And 26% of 13-year-olds say that their parents have taught them how to manage money, and that's where you mostly get your habits from, is from watching your parents and seeing how they do it. So even if it's you're doing a food shop, instead of, because it can be quite a taboo topic I think with money, especially if you're struggling, but I think even if you're doing the food shop and you're saying, because obviously inflation right now, the food shops have gone up, And you don't really want to worry your child, and you don't want to tell them that things are more expensive and things, but you do need to be open with them, because you can't just hide them from the world with things like that. So I think even if you just say to him, oh, like this used to be this much, now it's this much, and just planting little seeds in their head like that, I think just makes them slightly more aware and open to the fact that it's not always going to be the same. So yeah.
I feel like a good idea as well for this would be, because I remember in primary school, I used to get them books that you had to read and stuff, and there's them kids books. Maybe if they could change them into something incorporating money and stuff, so they actually get a better understanding of it. Because all I remember was the emphasis on them spelling bees, them little bee things, phonics, and just reading books.
Yeah.
That's all I remember.
And it's not even statistics and numbers to confuse them. It's just every so often just putting little things in so they just understand kind of what's going on in the world around them. Because I know that we're in sixth form now, and obviously we're not paying bills or anything like that, but we haven't had any lessons or anything teaching us saving or anything like that. We haven't had anything from school. We've had one lecture this year that only mentioned finance, which was when someone came in who has recovered from a gambling addiction.
Yeah, so I agree. We've had anything that could really be related to what we're talking about, and that was a lecture a couple of months ago where a guy came in who's recovered from a gambling addiction. He spoke about how that impacted him, not only financially but also mentally and his actual social and his life.
It's still really important, and it's a good lecture that we had, but I just think that's the one thing we've had, and there may be stuff coming up, but that's all we had, and it's kind of just, we've had one talk and it's just focusing on the negative things, but we haven't been taught about positive things like saving and reaping the rewards of things like that. So I think it just kind of makes you worry more than it does.
But I do feel like it is slightly gradually changing over time, but we need to create more awareness for it too.
Yeah,
For example, I know that HSBC, they go into primary schools now and they do little talks on financial literacy and stuff, and I feel like
it's really important that needs to be more widespread.
If we can get that building up and possibly more banks doing it and stuff, I'm not sure if they do, then I feel like kids become more aware, they want to look into it. With the gambling stuff, if I'm being honest, when I had that talk, I don't know about you guys, I wanted to look into it more. I wanted to see actually his perspective, what went wrong and stuff.
Yeah.
And how he got into that situation in the first place.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I know that over the recent years, they've actually added more finance into the maths GCSE specification, which wasn't in there before. So there'll now be questions on, say, loans rise by this much. But that's just, I feel like that's something it's a step forward, but it's just calculations. It doesn't really show the meaning behind it. We don't actually get that education. So.
And also, for kids, especially maybe a bit younger than us, it has to be fun and interactive, because when you're doing it in your revising for your maths GCSE, and you're having to do it and you're having to revise these things, it's not fun. Whereas when you've got a toy like this where it's all colourful and bright for young kids anyway, it makes it people they look forward to it, and especially with the competitive element with the contrasting colours and who gets the toy and interactive.
I feel like this is really important as well, because if you look at the world at the moment, it's constantly changing. We've got NFTs now, we've got people selling courses and stuff, and it's so fixated when it comes to the scam side. They're fixated on don't get scams on your banks and stuff. But if you look at all these courses and stuff, no one's educated on that, because that's part of your financial money, your savings pay. Say you want to grow your investment and you're listening to the wrong person, I feel like there should be more education on what courses you should go to or what you shouldn't.
Yeah. I think especially as we're not getting anything in school, if people are eager to learn about finance, they just kind of go on Google, do a quick search and read the first thing that's there. So they don't even know the right sources kind of to go to and look for this information. So we're just trying to spread what we can to our business. I think that's what makes it different, because I think you could just say this could just basically be a money saving box and you can get a jar or anything from anywhere. But I think what makes this different is the message that comes with the business and the information that comes with it, because at the end of this day, this is the kind of a tokens jar which you could make, but I think the idea of how this connects children and adults with what we're trying to teach, I think that's what's important.
And if we remember the actual perspective it's coming from, we've recently been at that age, we've realised what we haven't had.
Yeah, we're all 16 ourselves, so.
Yeah, I think we've realised, especially when we've started earning money and stuff, and our parents have said we've had to start paying for our own things. We get at that age now, you realise that actually you didn't learn about money when you were a kid.
I think that's a good age for us to be doing this business, because we're not adults trying to lecture kids and teach them a lesson, and obviously children can't really do this, but I think we're at the perfect age, because this is the age where we start getting jobs and we do start saving for things, and you start paying for things that you wouldn't have before. So I think now it's definitely for us, we'll understand it a lot better than we did, say, 2 years ago, which is why this is so important for us.
So it's all well and good talking about how there's problems and we aren't taught enough and all that sort of stuff, but we have to talk about how we've got a plan to resolve this. So we've done a lot of work behind the scenes, we've been working hard, obviously making a product this last couple of weeks has been really difficult. But we've also, I think we need to mention the operations team.
The operations team is just fabulous. We have Clara, Annika, Ming and Katie. They're phenomenal. Like, we couldn't do this without them. I don't know how to use the laser cutter.
Production's definitely taken up most of it. We thought it'd be like the market research and things, but production also, like, we've made so many different types and kind of seen what's worked, and so that's definitely taken up most of the time. So I know they've been here from morning till night most days, kind of on the machine. So
it's just constant, because with a laser cutter you have to put it on, it takes a while to cut, and you have to be there just in case anything went wrong or anything.
Yeah.
So
to make one koala is probably a good hour at least.
And I feel like we have to understand as well, they have lessons, they have work to do.
They're all still,
and the commitment is just, we wouldn't be here, we wouldn't have sold them without them making it.
Should we have a round of applause?
Yeah, we should have a round of applause.
I think that's what's good about us, is that everyone has put their all into this business. I think we've seen the benefits of that. Like, because obviously this is an extracurricular thing that we're doing, but even though we do this every Saturday in sessions, but we all do it outside as well, because we're so passionate about it and we just want it to like be the best that it can be. So
I feel like as we look into like our roles and stuff, I think the emphasis has to be on like teamwork. Say like, what are you?
I'm company secretary, so what are you?
Okay, so I'm the sales director, and what I think is really good about our group is that none of us had really spoken before, and we wouldn't have put ourselves together on our own, but I think what our passion, we've all brought ourselves together. So we have people from China, Germany, Russia, and obviously England in our group, and I had quite a few of them, I'd never spoken to them before, and I probably wouldn't have, because I don't have lessons with them or anything. And yeah, I think that's really good, that speaking to people that you wouldn't have before. And obviously at the start there were a few problems with communication and teamwork, because we didn't know how each other worked, and we'd never done this before, and we didn't know what each other's kind of skills were and weaknesses. So that was definitely a problem, and there were issues with that, but I think now we've definitely gotten used to each other and cleared them up and discussed with each other a lot better. So now we work more efficiently as a group.
I feel like we have the roles, but we don't really actually stick to them, because like it's a team effort at the end of the day. Like with like production and stuff, if they need like a little tiny hand or something, we would just drop in and help them and everything. But I feel like the role's just a title, I'd say. It's just completely a title.
If someone needs help, we kind of just say that and everyone chips in with that, but I think our roles are just kind of who leads that and kind of helps people out in that section.
Right. So I think we're on this podcast now, obviously. I think we need to talk about the future. I'm just going to try and like slip it in now. For this podcast, we're going to record another episode where we're going to talk to some people.
No, more than one episode actually. We're going to talk to like...
sorry mate.
No worries. We're going to talk to people like, we've got someone called Mr. MoneySmart on Instagram.
Yeah, his real name's Timmy. He's been on Sky News, quite a nice guy. We've spoken to him on Instagram quite a lot. Mr. MoneySmart, obviously there's alliteration there.
Yeah, and he teaches about financial literacy and stuff, and he's quite well known. He's been in quite a few platforms, and I feel like if we get a story, it'll be quite insightful to see from him. And then, obviously,
I feel like our listeners will be like, "Oh golly, this guy's actually got a lot of."
Yeah.
I think information is better coming
viable
from him
information
than
to
it is
show.
from us,
Exactly.
He's experienced the world.
When you
like,
compare, when
things.
the listeners, they compare the information they're getting from us, the information they get from Timmy, they'll be like, "Oh golly, this guy's actually really knowledgeable."
Yeah, exactly, because we're still going to go to uni. Exactly. We've got a cushy life at the moment, and And then we've got Timmy, who's very experienced. He's had to face these challenges and stuff, and I'm speaking on it.
I think it also shows different perspectives about money, from teenagers, how we feel about it, to then an adult who has a lot of experience with it. I think it shows that.
Yeah, and after Timmy, we get quite a few more people similar to him, and we're just going to continuously do episodes throughout the year on their different stories, what they would advise, and how they feel people should progress like our age, and like what they think of our product.
So where can the products be found then?
So you get them through, if you go to our Instagram, which is Monito, just Monito, right?
Monito UK.
Monito UK. Then you can go through there and access it through there, and all our selling is on the Young Enterprise Trading site. We also have our website, which is just Monito.
.uk.
Yeah, if you go on there and go to the tab that's our products, you can go on there, and that'll again take you to the Young Enterprise Trading station where you can buy in there £10.
It'd be really appreciative, because we're in a competition at the moment, and we can only, if we're abiding by Young Enterprise rules, obviously.
Because you can only sell on the trading.
We can only sell there. So it'd be really appreciated if you purchase some, if maybe for a Christmas present or just feeling generous. If you purchase some,
it's
because
definitely investment.
Yeah, exactly, and we're in a competition at the moment, which is to do with like the amount of sales, the amount of views you get on your product. So it'd be highly appreciated.
Even just go check it out and see.
Yeah.
And also, just to go on our website, there's information that'll benefit you as well on there.
So guys, I think we've covered everything we need to cover, don't you?
Yep, I would agree. So
We've covered everything we need to cover, don't you?
Yep, I would agree. So it's been a pleasure. This is the first episode of MoneySmart, and it's been a pleasure. And we'd hope to see you in the next episode, where we'll actually have an influencer on, and we'll hear their story. Been a pleasure. See you in a bit.
Thank you.